Elon Musk stole Tesla?
You think you know the story of Tesla, right? A lone genius, Elon Musk, single-handedly conjuring electric cars out of thin air to save the world. It's a powerful image, a modern myth. But what if I told you that the real story is far more complex, more dramatic, and involves a ruthless corporate power play that erased the company's true creators from history? This isn't just about who founded Tesla. It's about a colossal wrong move that reveals the dark side of ambition and the high price of rewriting the past. Let's rewind to 2003. At this time, electric cars were a joke. They were seen as slow, clunky golf carts for environmentalists, not objects of desire. But two Silicon Valley engineers, Eberhard and Marc Tarpenning, had a revolutionary idea. They didn't want to build just another electric car. They wanted to build an electric sports car. A car that was fast, beautiful, and exhilarating. They founded a company to do just that, and they called it Tesla Motors. Their vision was to prove that electric didn't have to mean boring. They laid the groundwork, developed the initial concepts, and started building the team that would create the very first Tesla Roadster, the car that would change everything. Notice who I haven't mentioned yet? Elon Musk. That's because he wasn't there at the beginning. Musk entered the picture in 2004, not as a founder but as an investor. He led the first major funding round with a crucial $6.5 million investment, becoming the chairman of the board. It was a deal born of necessity. Eberhard and Tarpenning had the vision and the engineering know-how, but they needed capital to make it a reality. Musk had the money and a burning ambition to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. On the surface, it seemed like a perfect match. But beneath the shared goal, a fundamental conflict was brewing. As chairman, Musk began to exert an immense amount of influence, far beyond what a typical investor would have. The clash wasn't over the what. Everyone agreed on building a world-class electric car. The problem was the how. Martin Eberhard, as the CEO, was a meticulous product guy. He was obsessed with the details, with making sure the components were reliable, and with managing the budget to deliver the Roadster. Musk, on the other hand, was the relentless visionary, demanding impossible timelines and pushing for radical and expensive design changes that weren't part of the original plan. The breaking point was the Roadster itself. Musk's constant interventions, his insistence on things like carbon fiber bodies and a different type of transmission, caused costs to balloon and led to crippling delays. The tension between Eberhard, the CEO trying to ship a product, and Musk, the chairman demanding perfection at any cost, became unbearable. The atmosphere grew toxic. This is where we see the real wrong move. And it wasn't a mistake in the market or a technical error. It was a brutal error in management and ethics, driven by ego and a thirst for control. In 2007, the hammer fell. Using his financial leverage and his power as chairman, Musk orchestrated a boardroom coup. Martin Eberhard was suddenly ousted as CEO. Few months later, he was unceremoniously fired from the very company he had created. He was escorted out of the building. His co-founder, Marc Tarpenning, witnessing the hostile takeover and the toxic culture that had taken root, chose to leave shortly after. The original visionaries of Tesla were gone. But for Musk, simply getting rid of them wasn't enough. He needed to control the narrative. This is where the story takes an even darker turn. After pushing out the founders, Musk began to publicly refer to himself as the founder of Tesla, systematically erasing Eberhard and Tarpenning from the company's history. He claimed the title for himself, spinning a new origin story where he was the central, and often sole, protagonist. This wasn't just a corporate reshuffle. It was a deliberate attempt to rewrite history. Eberhard, understandably, was not going to let this stand. He filed a lawsuit against Musk for defamation and libel, accusing him of publicly smearing his name and stealing his legacy. The lawsuit threatened to expose the dirty laundry of Tesla's founding to the entire world, something the young, struggling company couldn't afford. So in 2009, they reached a settlement. To avoid a messy public trial, Musk and Tesla agreed to officially recognize 5 people as co-founders: Musk himself, the original duo Martin Eberhard and Marc Tarpenning, and two other key early employees, Ian Wright and J.B. Straubel. On paper, it was a victory for Eberhard. He had forced Musk to acknowledge the truth. But in the court of public opinion, the war was already lost. The myth-making machine was in full swing. To the world, Elon Musk was Tesla. The settlement was a footnote. The myth became the headline. So, what was the real cost of Musk's wrong move? First, there was a massive loss of talent and passion. Tesla lost its founding engineers, the very people whose initial spark and dedication brought the company into existence. These weren't just employees. They were the soul of the original mission. Second, the drama created a cloud of controversy and legal costs that dogged the company for years, sowing distrust among investors and the public. And finally, it created a fundamental crack in the company's foundation. The gap between the myth and the reality. Musk successfully built a powerful personal brand as the singular genius behind Tesla, but he did it at the expense of historical truth. The company's origin story is now permanently tied to this act of betrayal. This case study is a chilling reminder of how a leader's ego can be more destructive to a company's culture than any market competitor. By purging the original creators, Musk ensured that his vision, and only his vision, would prevail. But in doing so, he turned the birth of one of the most important companies of our time into a story of ruthless ambition. It teaches us a powerful lesson. Sometimes the biggest wrong move you can make isn't a financial blunder, but a moral one, made in the desperate race to be the only one standing at the top. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into the hidden history of Tesla. It's a story that reminds us to always look past the headlines. If you found this interesting, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you do not miss our next video.